My name is Rachel Myers. I'm 18 years old, just finished high school last spring, and I guess you could say I graduated top of my class. I worked hard for that, every sleepless night, every science fair, every test I took with a stomach full of nerves and a lunchbox full of leftovers. I earned my spot as valedictorian. But apparently, that wasn't worth a seat in the family car. The day it happened is branded into my memory like a scar that won't fade. It's early morning, late May. The sun's out, warm and bright, and the air smells like fresh cut grass and melted sunscreen. I'm wearing my cap and gown over a simple white dress I bought with my own money from the clearance rack at Macy's. It's wrinkled at the hem, and I had to iron it twice with a towel and a flat iron. But it's mine. I'm proud of it. I come downstairs, clutching my speech in one hand and my little gift bag of teacher thank you notes in the other. I'm buzzing with nerves. Today is my day. I barely slept. But the house is quiet. Too quiet. No one's waiting in the kitchen. No congrats, Rachel banner. No pancakes with extra syrup like Mom used to make for birthdays. Just the distant sound of my stepdad typing in his office and the clinking of utensils from my younger brother's cereal bowl. I force a smile and walk into the living room where they're all gathered now, eyes wide with anticipation, but not for me. For Ryan. My 17-year-old brother, who barely scraped by with CS and once got suspended for spray painting the gym doors, is standing outside with his arms crossed, trying to act like he's not grinning. And then, boom, out of nowhere, my mom and stepdad come out with this giant red bow and scream, surprise. A brand new Tesla. Matte black. Polished like a mirror. It sits at the edge of our driveway like a trophy. I blink. Then blink again. What? I manage to say, my voice cracking. Ryan throws his arms around them like he's just won the lottery. No freaking way. Oh my God. This is insane. You deserve it, buddy, my stepdad beams. You've had a rough year, but you pulled through. Rough year? He pulled through? My stomach turns. My mom claps. You're a man now. We're so proud of you. I'm still standing in the doorway. I haven't even been acknowledged. I clear my throat. Don't forget we have to leave soon? For my graduation. They all turn around like they just noticed I exist. My stepdad checks his watch. Oh shoot. Right. Hey, we'll have to take a rain check on that, Rach. We've got to get the insurance finalized and go through the features with Ryan. I stare at them. You're not coming? My mom shrugs, like it's nothing. You've been to one graduation, you've been to them all. I'm sure it'll be recorded. Plus, it's just high school. Just high school. Just high school. I feel my heart sink into my shoes. You can take the bus, right? She adds quickly. The stop's only 2 blocks down. I want to scream. I want to ask her if she remembers all those nights I studied on the kitchen floor, tutoring Ryan while doing my own homework. If she remembers who took care of him when she and my stepdad went on anniversary trips or came home late. If she remembers how many times I said I just wanted her to be there, even if it was just in the crowd. But I don't scream. I don't cry either. I just nod. Sure, I whisper. I'll take the bus. I walk out, heels clicking against the sidewalk. My cap slips slightly, but I don't bother fixing it. Behind me, I hear the Tesla engine hum to life as Ryan revs it up for fun. My mom is laughing like she hasn't laughed in months. I check the time. 7:28 a.m. If I miss the 7:35 bus, I'll be late for my own graduation. I run. The bus stop isn't glamorous. It's a bench sprayed with graffiti, half covered by a leaning sign, and today there's an old man sleeping against the post. But I sit anyway. I wipe at the mascara already smudging under my eyes and I pretend I'm fine. A girl in jeans and a crop top sits beside me. She stares at my gown for a second. Graduation. Yeah, I nod, forcing a smile. She pauses. You got family meeting you there? That does it. My throat burns. I can't speak. I just shake my head, eyes on the sidewalk. The bus pulls up 5 minutes later. I pay my fare, sit in the very back, and curl my fingers around the speech I wrote, the one no one will hear because now I don't even want to go up on that stage. But I do. I sit through the ceremony. I smile for the photos my English teacher takes for me. I shake hands with my principal. And when it's my turn to give the valedictorian speech, I walk up to that podium and deliver every word, word for word. Because this wasn't for them. It never was. It was for me. And the people who said I couldn't do it. It's not until later that I realize I never once saw my name on the Tesla paperwork. Not even in the family group chat where they all posted selfies with Ryan in the driver's seat. No congratulations text. No, you looked beautiful. Not even a like. That was the moment I stopped trying to impress them. But I'll admit, for a long time after that, I didn't feel strong. I felt hollow. I went in my room that night, took off my wrinkled dress, and just sat in the dark for hours. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't hurting, but because I didn't think I deserved to cry. I thought maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't worth showing up for. Maybe Ryan was the golden child. Maybe I was just background noise. But something changed a few weeks later. It started with a letter in the mail. A college scholarship I didn't think I'd even get, fully covered tuition, room, and board for the full 4 years. A chance to leave, to start over. To build something no one could take credit for but me. That's when I knew my story wasn't ending on a bus bench. It was just getting started. The scholarship letter sits in my lap like something out of a dream. I'm sitting on the edge of my unmade bed, the envelope torn open in shaky hands. Full ride. For years. Honors dorm. Priority registration. Meal plan. The works. And here's the kicker. It's not even from one of the colleges I thought I had a chance with. It's from St. Martin's, one of the top private universities in the state. I applied on a whim, never thinking I'd actually get in, let alone get a scholarship. But apparently someone out there saw me, chose me, believed in me. I reread the line that says, "We're thrilled to welcome you as part of our Leadership Scholars cohort." My chest tightens. My throat feels like it's trying to close up. It's not that I'm ungrateful, it's just that no one else in this house knows. Or cares. And the silence in this room is somehow louder than all the noise in the world. I head downstairs, gripping the letter, practically glowing. But when I get to the kitchen, my mom is on the phone, laughing, her usual wine glass already out even though it's not even 2 p.m. My stepdad is watching some car review video with Ryan, who's already managed to get his Tesla detailed twice this week. There's this bubble around them. I know it too well. It's the kind you don't get invited into unless you're the favorite. "Hey," I say, holding up the letter like it's a winning lottery ticket. "I got a scholarship. Full ride." No one looks up. I clear my throat. St. Martin's. It's a pretty big deal. They're even giving me a dorm upgrade. Mom glances over finally. "Oh, that's nice, honey." Then she goes right back to her call. Ryan smirks. "Bet it's a women's college or something." My stepdad chuckles. "Well, that's one less thing we have to worry about paying for. Good for you." That's it. No hugs. No celebration. No, "we're proud of you." Just relief that I won't cost them anything. I stand there for a second, letter trembling in my hand, then quietly turn around and walk back upstairs. I close my door, sit at my desk, and begin to pack. Not just mentally. I grab a box from under the bed and start filling it, books, photos, the little motivational notes I used to write to myself when I felt invisible. I tape up the speech I gave at graduation and pin it on the wall. Not because I want to remember that day, but because I want to remember who I was in spite of it. Over the next few weeks, I throw myself into preparation. I find a roommate online, her name's Kayla, and she's from Colorado. We hit it off over shared study habits and late-night ramen obsessions. I apply for campus jobs and join every newsletter I can find. My family barely asks me anything. They're too busy planning Ryan's summer coming-of-age road trip. Apparently, he wants to drive to California with his friends. My mom's covering the hotel costs. My stepdad booked him a luxury detailing package as a "good luck out there" gift. Meanwhile, I'm scouring Craigslist for used mini fridges and texting strangers for dorm essentials. I'm not angry. Not really. I'm just done. Done trying to earn love that comes with terms and conditions. Done trying to be grateful for crumbs while someone else feasts. The day I leave for college, I wake up at dawn. I drag my own bags to the sidewalk, stuff them into the back of a shared rideshare van, and close the door before anyone in the house even stirs. Not a hug goodbye. Not a wave from the window. Not even a good luck, Rachel. I watch the house disappear behind me and tell myself this is freedom. It doesn't feel like it yet, but I know it will. College is a revelation. The first time I walk into my dorm room, everything smells like fresh paint and new beginnings. Kayla's already there, stringing fairy lights over her bed. She turns, grins, and says, "Roomy." I smile for real for the first time in weeks. Over the next few months, I find pieces of myself I didn't even know were missing. I join the Women's Leadership Collective. I start tutoring underclassmen in chemistry. One of my professors pulls me aside after class and says, "You've got a rare fire, Rachel. Don't let anyone dim it." Those words echo in my head for days. I start to thrive. Quietly. Steadily. Without needing applause. I don't go home for Thanksgiving. When my mom calls, it's not to ask how I'm doing. It's to see if I can remind her of Ryan's Apple ID password because he forgot it. I lie and say I don't know it. Christmas break is more of the same. I get a text saying, "Let us know if you're coming," but when I arrive 2 days later, they're not even home. They're at a ski resort. I spend Christmas Eve in my old room alone, microwaving leftover turkey from the freezer and watching Home Alone with a blanket around my shoulders. When they get back, Ryan gives me a gift card with $10 on it. "Thought you could use it for coffee or something," he says. My mom hugs me like I'm a neighbor, not her daughter. "Still planning to major in chemistry?" "That's great, honey. We're just so busy these days." They're strangers now. I realize it in that moment. And maybe I'm finally okay with that. Because I'm not the girl on the sidewalk anymore. I'm the girl they left behind, and that turned out to be the best thing they ever did for me. When I get back to campus, Kayla's waiting with cocoa and questions. She listens as I tell her everything. The Tesla. The bus. The way it still burns, even when I pretend it doesn't. She doesn't say much. Just, "That's messed up." And then, "But you're not done yet." I blink. "What do you mean?" "You're not done becoming the version of you they never saw coming." And that's when it hits me. She's right. I haven't even started yet. I stop trying to prove myself after that. I start building myself instead. I take an internship at a local research lab. The hours are brutal, but I love every second. I publish my first co-authored study by spring. I start mentoring freshmen the way I wish someone had mentored me. I stop checking my family's social media. I don't send updates. I don't chase validation. I just live. Until one day, something unexpected happens. A professor I deeply admire, Dr. Vargas, asks me to stay after class. "Rachel," he says, tapping a manila folder. "There's a private grant program looking to sponsor undergrad-led projects. I thought of you." I blink. "Me? You're one of the most driven students I've seen in years. You think with your heart and your head. That's rare." He slides the folder toward me. "You've got the voice. You just need the platform." I look at the folder. Inside is a grant worth $50,000. And suddenly, all I can hear is Ryan revving that Tesla engine while I waited alone in the sun. All I can see is my reflection in that bus window, wondering if I mattered. This time, I don't wait for anyone to believe in me. I believe in myself. I accept the challenge. And I begin to build something bigger than I ever imagined. But what I don't know yet is that soon, the same people who left me behind will come knocking. And when they do, they'll be the ones waiting for a ride. The first time I see my name in a science journal, I'm in the university library, hunched over a half-eaten sandwich and a stack of lab notes. I nearly choke when I read it. Myers are right there in bold under the title of our research project. The intern team's paper on synthetic polymer applications in medical devices had been accepted to one of the leading undergraduate research publications in the country. My professor emails me, "Rachel, this is just the beginning." And he's right. Because soon after, everything starts to shift. The grant from the private foundation isn't just money, it's fuel. I use it to build a team of student researchers, mostly other girls who never got taken seriously in high school science. We call ourselves Project Pulse, a startup lab working on low-cost, accessible diagnostic tools for underfunded clinics. People start talking. First, the school paper writes a feature. Then, a visiting board member drops by one of our meetings. Before long, we're presenting at Student Innovation Expos. And then, by some miracle, we get selected for the State Future Health Tech Initiative. That means press, exposure, potential licensing. And suddenly, I'm not just Rachel Myers, the girl who took the bus to graduation. I'm Rachel Myers, the founder of a research startup that people want to invest in. I'm not doing it to prove anything, but part of me wants my family to see it. Just once. To realize what they dismissed. But they don't reach out. Not when the article comes out. Not when the school sends out a newsletter. Not even when I land a TEDx talk slot that spring and step onto a stage in front of hundreds. I stop hoping they'll care. And that's when something ironic happens. They start caring. It begins with a text from my mom. Mom, hey sweetie, hope you're doing okay. Haven't heard from you in a while. Ryan says you're working on some medical project? That sounds cool. Maybe you can stop by when you're free? I stare at the message for a while, unsure what she wants. It's not like her to reach out just to talk. I don't reply. 3 days later, I get a follow-up. Mom, your stepdad saw something about you on Facebook. You're doing great things, Rachel. We're proud of you. Proud. It feels like a lie dressed in politeness. But still, the kid inside me aches for it to be real. I don't know why I do it, but I reply with a single line. Me, thanks. That's it. No smiley face. No miss you. No bridge offered. And just like that, the doors cracked open. 2 weeks later, they're at my dorm. No warning. Just knocking on the door while I'm in leggings and a messy bun, surrounded by grant paperwork. My stepdad is holding a bouquet of grocery store flowers. My mom is wearing too much perfume. Ryan's not with them. They stand in the doorway like strangers. We just wanted to say hi, Mom says, clutching her purse. And maybe take you to lunch? I almost laugh. You don't talk to someone for months and then you show up with flowers and small talk? But I say yes. Maybe to satisfy some old hunger in me. Maybe just to see what game they're playing. At the diner, they ask questions, but not real ones. How's college life treating you? Do you have a boyfriend? You still doing that science thing? I nod and smile and answer like a politician. I've learned how to do that now, stay warm, but unreadable. Then my stepdad says the thing I was waiting for. So, this startup of yours. Is it gonna make you, like, rich one day? There it is. I blink. That's not really the goal. He chuckles. Come on, Rachel. Don't be modest. My mom chimes in. We were thinking, maybe we could come visit your lab sometime. Ryan's really into tech now. He'd love to see what you're working on. Ryan. Of course. It's always about him. I sip my coffee. Ryan's still driving the Tesla? Oh yes, my mom says brightly. Takes such good care of it. Of course he does. They want to visit now. Now that there's something shiny to show off. I stare at them for a long second. Then I say, you know what I remember most from graduation day? They glance at each other. I lean forward. I remember watching my brother get a Tesla while I waited for a city bus in heels I bought with babysitting money. I remember giving a valedictorian speech to a sea of strangers because the people who should have been there were too busy explaining autopilot features to their son. They fall silent. I continue. You never showed up for me. Not once. And now you want to take a tour of what I built. My mom stutters. Rachel, we didn't mean to. You meant exactly what you did, I say softly. And I meant what I built since then. I stand. I'm going to pay for your coffee. That's it. That's all I owe. Their mouths hang open. But I don't wait for them to respond. I leave. And for the first time in my life, I don't feel guilty about it. Months pass. The startup grows. We launch our first field pilot in partnership with a mobile clinic. I get invited to speak at 2 national conferences. A venture firm expresses interest in backing our expansion after graduation. I've built a life they never thought I was capable of. And one night, sitting under the stars on the dorm roof with Kayla, I finally say it out loud. They made me feel small for so long. Kayla nods. But look where you are now. I smile. And then I say something I never thought I would. I don't think I want revenge anymore. She glances over. No, No. I want peace. And success. And, maybe, for them to know that they didn't break me. Kayla nudges me. Trust me, they know. And she's right. They do. Because the next morning, I get a handwritten card. It's from my mom. Inside, it says, "We made mistakes. I see that now. You deserved better. I hope it's not too late to say we're sorry. It's not perfect. It doesn't undo everything. But it's a start. And for now, I'm okay with that." I stare at the card for a long time. It's written in blue ink on plain stationery. No flowers, no sparkles. Just simple handwriting. My mom's a little shaky at the start, like she didn't know how to begin. It reads like someone who finally realized I wasn't coming back home for their approval. I wasn't a side character in Ryan's spotlight anymore. I tuck the card into a drawer. Not because I forgive her yet, but because for the first time, she used the words, "We were wrong." And that matters more than I thought it would. But life doesn't slow down just because someone says sorry. In fact, things speed up. Our prototype is getting attention. Real attention. We design a compact blood diagnostic device the size of a deck of cards. It uses a single pinprick and runs key tests in under 5 minutes, no lab required. It's not just a cool idea. It's life-saving. Especially in low-income neighborhoods and remote areas where medical labs are a luxury. At the Student Innovation Summit, our demo blows the judges away. One of them, a woman from the Health Tech Angel Fund, pulls me aside after the panel. "You built this?" she asks, brows raised. With a team of undergrads, I say, trying to hide how fast my heart's racing. She hands me a card. "Let's talk. I think what you're building deserves to go a lot farther." The next month is a whirlwind. Meetings, demos, investor decks, late nights of ramen and revisions. I barely sleep, barely eat. But for the first time, I don't feel alone in any of it. Kayla's there. My team is there. Dr. Vargas sits with me through pitch practice like it's his own dream on the line. When the funding offer comes in, I'm sitting at a sticky cafe table with my laptop open and a cappuccino gone cold. The number makes me dizzy. $500,000 in seed funding. To expand. To produce. To hire. I cover my mouth. My hands tremble. I take a picture of the screen, just so I can prove it to myself later. And then, without even thinking, I send the photo to one person. No words. No caption. Just the image of the number. To my mom. A few minutes later, she replies, "Mom, I don't know what to say. I'm so proud of you. Truly." This time, I believe her. With funding in place, everything shifts. We open a real space, a modest converted warehouse near campus that we call the lab. It smells like paint and plastic, and the lights flicker if you use the microwave and the 3D printer at the same time. But it's ours. I hire my first employees. Not just students, either real engineers, chemists, marketing leads. People who sit across the table from me and call me Ms. Myers. It's surreal. But it also feels right. The media picks it up. The local news runs a story. Student startup aims to close healthcare gaps with breakthrough device. That's when the floodgates open. Family friends I haven't spoken to in years start messaging me. "You've always been brilliant. I always knew you'd do something huge. Your parents must be so proud." My parents. Right. They try. They start calling more. My mom leaves awkward voicemails. My stepdad sends clunky texts like, "Saw your thing on the news. Pretty cool. Let us know if we can help with anything." Help? I want to laugh. Where was that energy when I was printing flyers for tutoring sessions just to buy notebooks? Where was the help when I stood at the bus stop in heels with blisters because they didn't want to rearrange their schedule? But I don't respond in anger. I don't respond at all. Because the truth is, I'm not sure what I want from them anymore. An apology? Maybe. Understanding? Definitely. But mostly. I just want them to see me for who I've become, without needing something from me in return. That moment comes sooner than I expect. It's summer now. I'm back on campus full-time, working with my team in the lab. I've stayed in my dorm over break to keep momentum going. One afternoon, while reviewing logistics with a supplier over Zoom, my phone buzzes with a call from home. I don't answer. Then comes a text. Mom, it's Ryan. Can you talk? I pause. My heart dips. Something's off. I call her back. She picks up on the second ring. Her voice is tight, brittle. Rachel, it's Ryan. He's been in an accident. Everything inside me stills. She rushes to explain, not life-threatening, but serious enough. Broken leg. Concussion. He was speeding, showing off with his friends. The Tesla's totaled. He's lucky to be alive. They said if he'd been going any faster. She trails off. I didn't know who else to call. That hits harder than I expect. I thought maybe you'd want to talk to him. He asked about you. My stomach twists. He asked about me? Yeah, she says. He said, he saw you on the news last week. Said he didn't realize everything you'd been doing. He's been really quiet since. I don't know what to say. I barely know how to feel. He was proud of you, Rachel, she adds softly. He just didn't know how to say it. I'm silent for a beat. Then, is he okay to talk? He's resting now. But I can give you his room number. He'd like to hear from you. I write it down. I hang up. And then I sit in the quiet. My brother, the golden child, the one who got a Tesla while I got a transit pass, lying in a hospital bed, realizing for the first time that I wasn't just his nerdy sister. That I became something without needing anyone's permission. I don't call him right away. Not because I'm punishing him, but because I need to decide what I want this time. Not what makes me the good daughter. Not what makes me look gracious or forgiving. What makes me free. Because maybe the most powerful revenge isn't payback at all. Maybe it's becoming someone they have no choice but to respect. The next morning, I do call. Ryan sounds groggy, but his voice cracks when he hears me. I saw your interview, he says. You're incredible. I wait. I was a jerk, Ratch, he adds. I thought the Tesla meant I was better. But I think I just didn't want to see how far ahead of me you already were. He pauses. I'm sorry. There it is. Not perfect, but real. And for once, I let myself accept it. We talk for a while. About dumb high school stuff. About the accident. About how fragile everything feels now. And when I hang up, something heavy lifts from my chest. Not everything's healed, but something has shifted. And maybe that's enough for now. Because as much as I've lost, I've gained something they can't take away. Self-worth. Purpose. Power. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something new. A week after our call, Ryan sends me a photo. It's a selfie, his leg in a thick cast, hospital gown half crumpled, dark circles under his eyes. But there's a half smile on his face, like he's trying. Underneath it, he texts. Still the coolest sibling I know. Don't let it go to your head. And for some reason, I laugh. Not the fake laugh I used to practice in our house, the one that made everything seem fine when it wasn't. This one's real. Sharp. Loud. It bubbles out of me like something unblocked. Because for the first time in years, I feel like I have a brother again. Not a rival. Not a mirror I was supposed to measure myself against. Just someone human. Flawed. But reaching out. Back at the lab, everything is moving faster than I can keep up with. The early prototype has evolved into something sleeker, more efficient. We've named it Pulse Point, a portable, rechargeable device now capable of running 5 different tests from a single drop of blood. It's small, smart, accessible. We've field tested it in clinics around the state. Nurses love it. Patients call it a miracle box. A single mother in a rural town cried when she found out she wouldn't have to drive 3 hours anymore for basic results. This is what I was meant to do. And somehow, the further I move into this life I've built for myself, the less space resentment takes up. Not because it disappears completely, it doesn't. But because it just doesn't own me anymore. I don't check my mom's social media. I don't dwell on the Tesla. I don't need their approval. But I'm not bitter either. I'm evolving. That becomes clearer when the university invites me to be the commencement speaker for the next graduation. I blink at the email for a full minute. Me, the girl they forgot about on my graduation day, now asked to be the final voice for hundreds of others stepping into the future. It feels like a full circle moment. And part of me wants them to be there. To see it. Not for praise. But because it feels important. So I do something bold. I mail them 2 invitations. One for my mom, one for Ryan. I don't send one to my stepdad. That door, I realize, I don't feel ready to open yet. And that's okay. I don't include a note. Just the formal invite, printed on white cardstock. A few days pass. Then Ryan texts. I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. And my mom? She doesn't respond. Until the night before. Mom, I wasn't sure if you wanted me there, but I do want to come. If you're okay with it. And I surprise myself by replying. Me, yes. Come. But only if it's for the right reason. She responds within minutes. Mom, it is. The auditorium is packed. Rows and rows of proud families, wrestling programs, and caps decorated with glitter and quotes. I stand backstage in a fitted navy dress, hair pinned up, holding a folded copy of my speech in my hand. I glance toward the crowd from the wings. And there, 2 rows back from the stage, I see them. Ryan, in a button-down and cast, holding a small bouquet of flowers in his lap. And next to him, my mother. She's fidgeting with the program. Her expression isn't pride or entitlement. It's something softer. Maybe awe. Maybe regret. Maybe both. My name gets called. The applause rises. I step into the lights. And I speak. Not just for me, but for every girl who ever got told they were too much or not enough. For every kid who sat on a sidewalk in a graduation gown, wondering if anyone would show up for them. I tell my story, not the revenge version, not the angry version, the truthful one. I say, sometimes the world forgets you. Sometimes your own family forgets you. But the trick isn't to fight for their attention. The trick is to remember yourself so fiercely that no one can ever erase you again. The room goes silent. Then it erupts. I see tears in the eyes of strangers. I see my professor, Dr. Vargas, nodding slowly, hands clasped. And in the second row, I see my mother, hands covering her mouth, eyes glistening. She's not clapping. She's crying. Ryan claps for both of them. After the ceremony, there are hugs and photos and swarms of students asking questions. But eventually, my family makes their way to me. Ryan hands me the bouquet, daisies and soft yellow roses. You were a beast up there, he says with a grin. In the best way. I laugh and hug him. Then I turn to my mom. She doesn't speak right away. She just pulls me into her arms. And says, softly into my ear, I didn't deserve this seat. But thank you for giving it to me anyway. I don't cry. Not because I don't feel anything, but because I feel everything. It's not a perfect fix. But it's a beginning. And beginnings, I've learned, are powerful. A few days later, I return to the lab. My team's already buzzing, new prototypes, new requests from health centers, and another investor meeting on the calendar. I take a moment alone in my office, the little corner room with the squeaky chair and the dry erase board full of half-erased scribbles. And I tape my speech, the final draft I delivered, to the inside of the door. Because I want to see it every time I leave. A reminder that I am not the version of me they once ignored. I am the version I fought to become. And no one gets to take that away from me. Not anymore. It's been 2 months since I gave that speech, but the ripples from it haven't stopped. Students I've never met stop me on campus. A girl from the engineering department came up last week and said, "You made me call my dad for the first time in a year. Just to tell him I got into grad school." Another whispered, "Thank you for saying what I've always felt but never had the words for." I didn't expect my story, the hurt, the betrayal, the loneliness, to resonate this deeply. But it turns out, a lot of people know what it feels like to be the afterthought in your own family. And now, I'm not just running Pulse Point. I'm representing it. I get invited to speak at National Women in STEM panels. I sit on a healthcare tech startup jury. Our lab even earns a visit from a state senator who wants to push legislation making diagnostic tools like ours part of public health programs. Things are changing. Not just for me, but for the people who used to be invisible in rooms like this. One afternoon, I'm sitting in a sleek downtown office across from a potential investor, an older man in a charcoal suit with polished shoes and tired eyes. He's reading my proposal, flipping through slides, asking good questions. Then he looks at me and says, "You're young for this kind of success." Not many people your age know how to handle pressure like this. What drives you? I think for a moment. Then I answer honestly. Being underestimated. He nods, quiet for a beat. Then, that's a hell of a fuel source. And it is. But I've also learned not to let it be the only one. Because anger is useful until it starts eating you. And proving people wrong feels powerful until you forget why you wanted to prove it in the first place. I didn't build all this just to spite my family. I built it because people needed it. Because I needed it, a version of myself that didn't ask for permission to exist. The next chapter comes quietly. One evening, I'm alone in the lab. Everyone's gone home, and I'm sitting in the dim glow of the desk lamp, surrounded by paperwork and half-empty coffee cups. There's a knock at the door. I almost don't answer, assuming it's a delivery gone to the wrong place. But when I open it, I freeze. It's my mother. She's holding a small box in both hands. "Hi," she says softly. I blink. "Is something wrong?" "No," she says. I found something. And I thought maybe you should have it." She hands me the box. It's old cardboard, frayed at the edges, taped shut with yellowing strips of packing tape. It smells like the attic. I carry it to my desk and open it. Inside are things I haven't seen in years. My spelling bee ribbons. A trophy from the science fair I won in 8th grade. My middle school essays, the ones I was too shy to show anyone. Even a faded folder labeled Rachel, college apps. And then, at the bottom, a photo. Me, in my cap and gown. Standing alone at the bus stop, holding my speech in one hand. Someone had taken it. My mom, apparently. I look up at her confused. "I was in the window," she says, voice trembling. "That day, I saw you. I didn't come out. I told myself we were busy, that Ryan's gift was more important in that moment. But when I saw you standing there alone." Her eyes fill with tears. I've never forgiven myself for that. I sit back in my chair. My throat is tight, but I don't interrupt. "I thought being a good mom meant giving attention to the ones who needed it the most," she says. "But I didn't realize you were hurting quietly. Achieving everything without asking for help. I didn't know how to show up for someone who didn't demand to be seen." We sit in silence for a while. Then she adds, "I'm not asking you to forget. But I hope you'll let me try to be better. Even if I'm years too late." And for once, I don't feel like shutting the door. I reach for the photo. I run my thumb along the edge. And I say, "I'm not the same girl in this picture anymore." "I know," she whispers. "But I see her now." The next week, something happens that makes me realize how much has changed, not just in my life, but inside me. I'm invited back to my old high school. The new principal is a woman who graduated from the same university I did. She saw the TEDx talk. Saw the feature in the state magazine. She wants me to give a talk to the senior girls. "Tell them what it means to carve your own space," she says. "They need someone like you." I almost say no. I don't want to walk those halls again. I don't want to risk seeing that bus stop, that driveway, those ghosts. But something tells me I should. So I go. The auditorium is smaller than I remember. The walls still smell like cheap floor wax and anxiety. When I step onto that stage, I see girls in every row, some in hoodies, some in sparkly barrettes, some already looking tired like life asked too much too early. I look at them and say, I used to think I had to be quiet to be loved. That if I worked hard enough, stayed small enough, maybe someone would notice me. Their eyes don't blink. But then I learned, sometimes, the people who are supposed to cheer the loudest will be the first to ignore you. And that's not your fault. It's theirs. It always was. I tell them about the bus, the Tesla, the silence, and the climb out of it. And when I finish, something unexpected happens. One of the girls stands up, then another, and then the room is on its feet, applauding. Not for a car, not for a trophy, but for me. For the voice I found after being told I wasn't worth the ride. Afterward, a girl with braces and nervous eyes runs up to me. My parents, they never come to anything, she says. I thought maybe I didn't matter. You do, I tell her. Start with that. Everything else comes later. She hugs me so tight I lose my breath. And for the first time, I feel like that photo at the bus stop. It's no longer the most important snapshot of my life. Because now, I have a whole future worth framing. It's funny how life circles back in unexpected ways. A year has passed since that auditorium moment, since I stood in front of a room full of girls who, like me, once waited to be seen. Since I returned to the place that made me feel invisible and walked out glowing. Pulse Point is no longer just a student-led lab. It's a real company now, incorporated, staffed, and funded. We've partnered with nonprofits across the country and are in talks with global health organizations. People I once watched on TV now call me for advice. Sometimes, I still catch myself flinching when I open emails from journalists or event coordinators. A small voice whispers, "They're going to realize you're not supposed to be here." But that voice is softer now. Easier to ignore. Because there's a stronger one beside it, the one I built myself. And that one says, "You belong." I walk into my office one Monday morning and find Ryan sitting in the reception area. He's early, too early, and dressed better than usual. Button-down shirt tucked in, holding a laptop bag. I raise an eyebrow. He stands and scratches the back of his neck. "Hey, you said you'd review my resume." "Right." I had a few weeks ago after he told me he was applying to community college. I wave him in. "Let's take a look." We sit at my desk. He slides his laptop toward me, nervous. "Be honest," he says. "Brutal, even." So I am. I go line by line, pointing out what works and what needs help. We rewrite a few sections. Add some volunteer work. I explain how to tell a story, even in a resume. "You're not just a guy looking for work," I say. "You're someone who grew from something. Tell that story." He nods, serious. "You know, for a long time, I didn't get it. I thought success looked like expensive cars, fancy vacations, stuff. And now?" I ask. He shrugs. "Now I think it looks like waking up proud of who you are." I stare at him for a second. And then smile. He's come far. We both have. That afternoon, I do something I've avoided for years. I walk past the mirror in my office hallway and stop. It's full length, framed in black metal. Every day I pass it, barely glancing. But today I pause. And I look at myself. 21 now. My hair tied back. No makeup. Gray blazer over a white blouse. No glitter, no sparkle. But I see someone powerful. Someone steady. Someone who built a legacy from nothing. And behind her, I see a flash of a girl in a white graduation dress, heels pinching, standing at a bus stop while her family cheered for someone else. And I smile. Because she made it. She made it here. And she's not begging anymore. Not for attention. Not for love. Not for a ride. She drives now, metaphorically and literally. And that bus stop? That moment? It was never the end. It was the beginning. I go home that weekend. I don't do it often, maybe once or twice a year. The house still looks the same. The driveway still has the same cracks. But something's different. My mom meets me at the door. No fake smile this time. No strained, "How's work?" just to fill the silence. She hugs me, a real hug. One where she holds on for a beat too long. Inside, there's a new framed photo on the mantle. It's of me on stage at the university commencement. Right next to Ryan's senior portrait. That used to bother me. Sharing space with him. Being lumped into the kids. But now, I'm okay with it. Because the difference is, I put myself in that frame. I carved that space out with my own hands. My own voice. After dinner, we sit on the back porch. My mom pours tea into two mismatched mugs. "I'm sorry," she says again, without prompting. "I think I just didn't know how to love someone who didn't need me." I nod slowly. And I didn't know how to ask for what I deserved. Silence stretches between us. But it's a good silence. Then she says, "You don't have to come back here often." I get it. But when you do, I'll always be here. That's all I need. The final scene isn't dramatic. No explosions. No headlines. Just me. Sitting in a small office with light pouring through the windows, sipping lukewarm coffee as my team prepares for a major pitch meeting. Laughter echoes down the hall. My assistant pokes her head in and asks if I want the new branding designs on my desk or via email. I answer. I smile. I take a deep breath. Because this is what healing looks like. Not fireworks. Not revenge. But peace. And ownership. And walking into every room knowing if they don't give you a seat at the table, you build your own table. And you own it. I glance at the old photo still tucked in the drawer, me at the bus stop in my gown, holding a speech no one heard. Then I close the drawer. Because that girl? She doesn't need the spotlight anymore. She became it. And she never waited for anyone to drive her again. Not once. Not ever.